Well, welcome or good morning from a rainy Saturday in Boston. I just finished my week of teaching, which was one of those exhausting weeks. We had open house. I'm getting ready for our Disney musical in school and self-evaluation for our teacher evaluation reports, as well as goals and action steps. So it's been pretty jam-packed. And my life, in other regards, I have physical therapy twice a week still. So, just to preface it with a description of where I'm at. So, this is a reflection about doing the field work notes. And it is something I have done in a previous incarnation. I was part of something called the Boston Public Schools Quality Study. It was we did it prior to some goals, or excuse me, some grants that were eventually proposed and given to the school district to increase arts capacity in many ways, and they really helped. I was in one of the initial groups that just a focus group where we talked about it, and what the district had, what it didn't have, what it needed, and so forth. And that led to something called the quality studies, which I participated in. And basically what they were was to go into another art teacher's classroom. Either, for me, it was a theater and one was a dance class that I observed. And to take minute-by-minute notes, similar to what they used to do for us as teachers in our own evaluations. And even when I was able to just be an observer and not a participant observer, I found it incredibly difficult because the minutia of what's happening in a class is not so easily defined by a sentence or two, but the more I did it, the more I was able to figure out ways that would work. So my revelation this week with doing the archiving and the writing and archiving of the notes, of starting with jottings and then I had a table I put it into. And it was from my own class, and it's very helpful in two regards. Number one, it really caused me to step back and look at some of my practices and kind of reflect on how I'm doing things and maybe how I could do things differently. But it also helped me realize that it's not so easy to observe and be impartial, because most of the time when you're observing, you're taking yourself out of the equation, and therefore you look at it a lot more objectively. And it was hard to look at myself objectively. Not that I think I'm doing things correctly, but just that you're not so clear on what you're seeing, as if you're just an observer. So I see why the fieldwork component should be a place outside of your own place of employment, which I'm hoping to do later on, and it just hasn't occurred for me yet. But what I did learn about what I can do to make it work better for myself is I think that by doing video snippets, at least of critical parts of my class, the ones I have the most curiosity about, and the guiding question I used was very specific, and that helped me immensely. My guiding question was, how do children hear, I'm very tongue-tied. How is it for children to make body shapes in the shape of letters? How do they hear that, and how do they do it? And what I observed was that they sincerely understood the directions, but they were thinking of it, because I did it with kindergarten and I did it with first grade as well. They look at it as this, flat on the floor, because that's how writing is done, which I had never thought about before, why it was hard for them to do it three-dimensionally. So it's as though, oh, now I know I have to teach 2D and 3D, just like an art teacher would. So I did have some observational aha moments. Now, the other observational aha moment I had was, I really need another device, and that was the video snippet thing. I need to pick a part of the class and apply the question to just that part, and then videotape that part of the class. And I think then I can look at it, revisit it, go back, so forth. So these are my observations for week 4, looking at the fieldwork notes that I took and what I learned from them, what I observed about myself, and what I can do differently.